There's no excuse, bro. Like, my course is literally free. Why would a business owner allow you to do their marketing if you have zero testimonials, zero proof that you know what you're doing? Again,
Yeah.
you're looking at a C student who isn't the most tech savvy. There's enough information on YouTube for you to figure out how to make a cold call, how to send a cold DM, how to send a cold email. If you're not willing to put in 100 of each every single day, you don't want it enough. End of story. Like, you're just lazy.
Today, I've got a very, very special guest on here. I've got my friend Nick Kostulas. Is that how you pronounce your last name?
Yeah, perfect. Nick
Awesome.
Kostulas, you got it on the first
Kostulas.
try.
Perfect,
Appreciate that.
perfect. Yeah, man. So he's a six-figure entrepreneur. He's the founder of Balance Media and Balance University. And Nick, I'm super excited to chat today. Just to give the people some value. Hopefully, we can help some beginners out in their agency journey. We'll talk about how you got started, and then yeah, I'm very excited to chat today.
Excellent. Let's get right
Awesome,
into
man.
it, bro.
Perfect, perfect. So, can you just give like a quick introduction about yourself, like who you are, what you do, your background, and how you sort of got started in like this online, business space, I guess?
I got you, bro. So I'm currently 26. I bought Ty Lopez's social media marketing course back when I was like 19 years old. Me and my buddy split it, and then we worked every single day on it. And I decided one day when I was at my job at the time, I was a delivery boy for a pizzeria. I had a full day's shift, and I was like, screw it. I've been studying this course. I have some ideas. So I asked my boss if I could do their marketing, and he ended up giving me a shot. I did like 2 months of free trials for him, but then it really blew up his marketing, and that's what got me my first client, and I haven't looked back ever since.
Awesome, awesome. And you got started when you were relatively young, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And then did you ever like, think that you were going down like the college route or any of that, or were you just like, since day one, I'm going into business entrepreneurship?
No, I thought I'd be a professional baseball player. Like that
Okay.
was my life's goal. I was pretty exceptional for a high school player. I won some awards and whatnot. And then honestly it was like a bad thing because it inflated my ego to the point where I thought I'd be a professional. And dude, I tried out for a college team like 4 times. The same one. I
Oh
tried and I
wow.
tried and I tried. And I
Oh
just
wow.
got either hurt or cut or like politics that go into it. And yeah, man, I literally realized the first year that I got cut, it was because I got hurt. Like I messed my lower back up.
Right.
And I was like, well, I probably won't get rich playing baseball.
Hmm.
I want to get rich though. Like I've always been money hungry, like making money, having an excess in capital is what I was aiming towards. And yeah, my friend Joe that I bought the course with, he read a book at the time called The Laptop Millionaire, and
Hmm.
then that book just had a bunch of examples of like people making money with Facebook ads, full time living with Google ads, and it was the first time it really opened my eyes to like, holy crap, like you can make money online. So
Right.
we kind of went down a rabbit hole about just entrepreneurship in general, and it really, really, really intrigued the both of us. And then I started getting absolutely spammed with the "Here in my garage" ad from Ty Lopez. And at first I thought it was annoying, and then you know, sometimes you let the ad run the whole
Hmm.
time, and you're like, it's kind of interesting. And the part that really stood out to me the most was when he was like, the quickest way to making six figures is to just get 8 people to pay you $1,000 per month. And then that really clicked with me. And then I ended up buying his course for 1,000, and then I ended up closing my first client about a month or two later. But then I had a lot of problems scaling, and I didn't really become, you know, relatively successful until like honestly recently, like over the past like 2 years. The first couple of years were just I could not scale, and we can get into why. And hopefully, I can
Yeah.
help some beginner agency owners avoid the same mistakes that I made.
Awesome. Awesome. Yeah. And then like I did wanted to get into like what was it that that made you think like, okay, this is possible, and that you can make a living on the internet, you can run a sustainable business, and you can achieve freedom from running your agency. Like, what was the thing that made you like actually realize the possibilities?
Well, for me, reading books was definitely the biggest thing. Just seeing other people do it, I'm like, these are just other humans. Like,
Right.
if they could do it, why can't I? I wasn't always the smartest in school. Like, I probably averaged like a B, maybe a high C. I remember like I graduated like perfectly in the middle of my high school class. There was like 400 kids in my grade that graduated in my high school, and I was like 200th. So the definition of average at school. And I never thought I would be like successful in a way of like cuz you're taught your whole life like if you're not good at school like and if you fail your tests like you're not going to be shit in the world.
Right.
You know what I mean? So
Right.
it's kind of like I had to like break that mental barrier and obstacle, and sports really helped me with that because once I was reading the books on it's possible to make money and an excess of money, and like there's no ceiling when you're an entrepreneur. Like when you get a normal job, like you're capped. And I always thought like getting a normal job, like it is the comfortable route, but like I watched
Hmm.
like my dad lose his job, and I was like, that doesn't look so comfortable knowing like you can get fired at any time.
Hmm.
So like my parents got divorced because of money. Like so like money really, really, really affected me, especially at a young age. So I understood the value of a dollar and the concept of working really hard. And baseball and just sports in general, because I played football, basketball as well, it taught me like you don't deserve to play unless you get ridiculous results, you know?
Right.
So it kind of gave me the mindset of like I got to go out there and earn it myself. So that's why entrepreneurship resonated with me because I like the idea of taking on all the responsibility. Like I'll get paid if I put in the work. So that's kind of like what gravitated me towards it. And I really opened up my mindset on like, yo, like you can make as much money as you deserve. You just got to work for it. And I
Right.
love that concept. I love the idea of taking on all the responsibility and
Hmm.
the charisma you learn from being on sports teams and making friends, like that completely translated into sales for me. You know, like I
Yeah.
didn't know like that skill of like being a people person would be such a profitable thing
For
because
sure.
that's all sales is. It's just can
Yeah.
you get the other person to like you, trust you, and can you create a win-win scenario? So it was just a lot of just undoing just limiting beliefs that I had growing up.
Yeah, for sure. You said you were like a very hardworking person. I can tell from the stories that you've told me that you're very goal determined. You're very driven. Since you were young, that you wanted to become rich and attain a lot of wealth. And I know there's a bunch of beginner agency owners or people that want to get started into online business, whatever type of model that they're doing, like drop shipping, affiliate marketing. They see Imangaji and these gurus, I guess, make a bunch of money. So, do you think that if you're not a hardworking person since day one, you can still make it? Or do you think, you have to be, like a hardworking person since you were born? Or do you think it's like a learned skill?
I think it's all perspective, based on like what you determine to be successful because you could make 5K per month from your agency, not work that hard to achieve that. And if you're happy at that goal, like by all means, like it's all about finding like what you're happy doing. Like for some people, they want to make $100 million. For some people, they want to make $1 million. For some people, are just happy with six figures. Some people can make 50K in a year and just be happy. So it all depends on the person. Is work ethic something you could learn? Yeah, for sure. I wasn't always the hardest working person, you know. I was very lucky in sports. Like I was extremely talented, but I didn't work that hard. I didn't practice as much as I should have. But I was still decent. But especially with business in the first couple of years, like I spent a lot of time just like doing a whole mental, like, I thought I was working hard, but I wasn't. You know what I mean? Like when you
Yeah.
read a book, it's like, oh, I feel so productive for the day. And like
Right.
I spent 3 hours reading and 2 hours meditating and an hour doing yoga and fucking doing working out and shit. And like
Yeah.
you feel like you're being productive, but you're actually not. And I did that for like the first 3 or 4 years. So I wouldn't even consider that working hard, you know?
Right. Right.
Like
For sure.
once I figured out that, the only things that matter are profit producing skills, profit producing activities like making calls, cold outreach, referrals, tripling down on, getting good results for my clients so I, get referrals from them. That's ultimately the most important thing that somebody can work hard at. I think it's learning what you should be doing with your 24 hours in the day because you could think you're working hard, but you're really not. If you
Right.
read 3 books and you spent the entire day reading, but I spent the entire day making calls, but you read 3 books, who had a more productive day? Like you're
Right.
technically working hard, right? You're learning, you're achieving a new skill potentially, depending on how good the book is. But like it's kind of just like you can work hard at anything. You just got to make sure you're working hard at the right things. And that's definitely a learned skill, for
Okay.
sure.
For sure, yeah. I mean, definitely, like, I think a lot of people out here, they are just thinking, like, meditate, journal, cold showers, go to the gym, and they're not really doing the right things they're supposed to. Like
Yeah.
in my opinion, I don't think any of those things, will get you to where you want to be financially. I think it's good for your body, your mind, your overall well-being.
Yeah.
But I mean, I do want to hear like what you think about that. Like, do you think like monk mode, as Imangaji calls it, do you think that's necessary to be successful?
It depends on how disciplined of a person that you are. I think you have a higher percent chance at working at a more optimal level if you do take a cold shower, if you do meditate, if you do exercise regularly, if you do eat healthier, preferably a lower carb diet. Like I personally do an extremely low carb diet, and the mental clarity that I have is ridiculous. I would say compared to when I was eating carbs. So like if just from
Hmm.
because I used to be a personal trainer at the same time that I
Okay.
was working at Delivery Boy. So like I'm super into fitness and mental health and physical health, and like that's like literally a third of the Balance University free course on my YouTube channel. Because I do believe that that stuff is important, but that's because, it's important for a different reason. It's not necessarily financially important.
Right.
I say the reason I named my company Balance in the first place is because of the 33% rule that I learned from Ty Lopez, which is you need 33% wealth, 33% relationships, 33% health, So you got to
Right.
make sure that your life is put together in those 3 pillars,
100%.
for you to be ultimately happy. Because say you're a multimillionaire, but you're fat as shit, you can't think straight,
Yeah.
and no girl wants to talk to you. Like, are you really living that quality of life that you really want to be living? Like, there's more things important than just money, for
For
sure.
sure.
But like, if you're looking at it from just a financial standpoint, then no, it's not. Like,
Yeah.
wake up, make your coffee, and then start your profit producing habit like immediately. Whether for you that's sending an email, a DM, making a call, a referral, talking to one of your boys' dads who owns a business, like
Hmm.
that's what's truly, truly going to make you financially independent. But that doesn't, it's hard and it's uncomfortable because you're
Right.
going to get a shit ton of no's and it takes a lot of time and effort. So people just focus on the stuff that makes them feel good, like meditating and, you know,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know what
for
I mean?
sure. Exactly. And I mean, yeah, there's a lot of activities that I feel like many beginner agency owners like to stay away from or like make excuses on why they shouldn't do it, like especially for outreach. Like what are your some, tips that you can give for people that are struggling to get in the work to actually do the profit making activities and to actually, not waste their time and be productive?
There's no excuse, bro. Like I have my course is literally free. So forget like me, for example, like there's enough information on YouTube for you to figure out how to make a cold call, how to send a cold DM, how to send a cold email. You are just lazy. If you're not willing to put in 100 of each every single day, you don't want it enough. End of story. Like you're just lazy.
For
Like
sure.
there's no other way to put it. Yes, I want you guys to subscribe to my YouTube, and like it would be awesome if you signed up for my mentorship coaching. But the thing is, like my course specifically, we're just talking about me for a second, is free. The information I'm giving to you on a silver platter. Go do the work. I literally give you the templates for the email and the DM. I give you my cold call script. Like there's no excuse. You can make this business happen, or you could buy Iman's fucking $1,500 to $3,000 course or whatever. Like there's resources out there that are ridiculous that can help you if you have some extra money laying around.
Hmm.
But like, yeah,
Yeah.
put in the work.
Yeah, exactly, man. And I just feel like, I mean, in my opinion, it just comes down to people not wanting it bad enough, or they're not really put in that situation where they can, they have to do it, right? Like, I feel
Yeah,
like a lot of people, their back isn't against the wall. It's not like, you do it or you're not going to eat for a month, you know what I
yeah,
mean? So I feel like that's super important for sure. But you did mention that you read a lot of books and you feel like books, give you a lot of knowledge. Is there any recommendations that you can give for people out there for good books to read?
yeah, for sure. I think How to Win Friends and Influence People is
Hmm.
definitely the best book on just that'll help you with life,
Right.
and then that'll translate to sales. I would say the one thing is the next best book. That book was ridiculously important for me at the time because when I was 20, I was learning Shopify, affiliate marketing, social media marketing. I was doing a YouTube channel. I wanted to be a fitness influencer. And I was just like, that one book changed my life, the one thing, because it really broke down like doesn't matter what you pick, you can make anything successful as long as you go all in on one thing at a time.
Hmm.
And Alex Hermosi really triples down on that as well. Like he had the same sort of issue where he was running a chiropractor agency, a dental agency, he was trying to run like six gyms all at the same time, and he was struggling really badly. He was just breaking even because he wouldn't just stick to one thing. If he just stuck to the chiropractor, just stuck to the dental, he ended up picking the gyms, and
Hmm.
then that's what exploded him and then allowed him to create acquisition.com and shit. But like you can pick if you pick just one thing and put 100% of your effort into it, it just makes sense. You only have 24 hours in a day. If I
Right.
spend the entire day working on my social media marketing agency, I'm going to blow right past the person who's spending 10% of their day in their agency, 10% of their day on affiliate marketing, 10% of their day on Amazon FBA, 10%
Yeah.
on Shopify, and then the other 50 fucking playing video games. Like, you got no shot, bro. I'm working 100% of the day on my agency.
Yeah, for sure, man. And I feel like, there's a lot of shiny object syndrome that's happening, especially for like beginners, because like in my opinion, I feel like it's due to the internet. Like they see this one thing going off, like Shopify dropshipping, using TikTok, Facebook ads, and then they see, okay, Imangaji, SMMA, and then they see, okay, email marketing or high ticket sales, like whatever it is, because there's so many ways to make money nowadays. Like I feel like people are just struggling to stick with one, right? So, is there any tips you could give on that as well? Like
Yeah.
just sticking for one thing.
It's it's super important to just pick one. I understand like the marketing is so good nowadays. Like you have
Right.
people like you who have teams that have ridiculous editing skills, and the
Hmm.
fact that all of us are addicted to our phones beyond belief, where getting off of TikTok is a very hard thing to do.
For
Like
sure.
calling it a quit and go like how many times did you scroll today? How'd you find this podcast in the first place? You're probably scrolling, right? Like so you're you need to develop discipline and
Mm.
understand like pick one, go all in for 5 years, all day, every day. And then I think organizing the apps on your phone is super important as well. Like
Okay.
for me, I'm a huge video game guy, but I only allow myself to play just video games if it's past midnight and I've done all the work I need to do for the day. Or if I'm making calls, because like you guys know how I do like Balance University, I have my mentorship students and I'm on Zoom and I'm like training them by showing them live, like me make cold calls and like I'm helping them with their cold calls. I'll play a video game, but I have to be simultaneously working. So it's like
Mm-hmm.
I combined a habit that is not productive with something that is productive so I can work on the thing that's productive longer. Because
Right.
making calls and cold DMs and emails, dude, it gets boring.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
if I have my dual monitor set up and I'm also playing Fortnite, the time flies. And all of a sudden I made 150 calls instead of 100.
Yeah.
And if I die, I don't give a shit. I'm playing solos. I can literally just, if I get the guy in the meeting finally, because it's like it's hard, you're spending like 95% of the time that the phone's just dialing. You get a receptionist, you hang up. And then
Mm-hmm.
you eventually get that meeting, pause the game, have your meeting, you know and that's honestly how I built my marketing agency off cold calls. Now to scale it, I'm now spending money on Facebook ads, and that's a whole nother story for
Mm-hmm.
another day. But that's how I grew my agency past 10K per month, just
Yeah.
making cold calls. It works.
Yeah, for sure. And I also have a buddy that does the same thing as you. Like they're on the game, they're doing cold calls every single day nonstop. And I feel like, like a lot of people aren't disciplined enough to actually do that, right?
Yeah.
Because they're scared of rejection, they're scared of just people, I guess. Like they're scared
Yeah.
to talk to people, to pitch business owners, and I feel like that's very detrimental to their success. It's just that
Hmm.
fear, right? But back to how you actually got started. You did mention you got your first client by doing free trials, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. And then, if you were to go back in time right now, like how would you get your first client again? Like if you were to start from scratch.
See, I'm not a huge fan of free trials, but that's just because of where I'm at now. Like if I didn't have see the reason I couldn't scale my agency back in the day is because I thought I could do everything myself. I failed to realize the power of hiring a team and hiring competent people who are better than me at a specific skill. So what I want a beginner agency owner to understand is just probability. Why would a business owner allow you to do their marketing if you have zero testimonials, zero proof that you know what you're doing? And that's why I
Mm-hmm.
was willing to do the free trial for the guy for the pizzeria that I used to work at for the first 2 months because I was novice, 19 years old. So I was just like, I didn't even know how I could even ask for money. So my sales skills were scale of 1 to 10 is zero.
Mm-hmm.
My fulfillment skills, scale of 1 to 10, maybe a one because I took the course and I had about a little bit of knowledge on what to do. And, you know, it took me 2 months because the guy literally took advantage of me because he knew I had no sales skills and I just didn't know how to ask for money. It was awkward. And if I could go back, it's tough to be like, oh, I would do this instead. But it's like I have to look back at like where my knowledge was at the time.
Mm-hmm. For
You know
sure.
what I mean? Like,
But for you, like if you were to, start like a new agency today, like how would you approach it?
I mean, how I would go about approaching it now, it's like you got to get honestly lucky about who you're going to learn from. Ty Lopez's course wasn't the best, honestly. It was okay. It was very mediocre. Ty
Mm-hmm.
Lopez barely even taught in it. If I could go back and do it all over again, I wish I could find. Well, that's the question I asked myself. Like, because I obviously I have a really deep passion for like teaching and making YouTube videos and helping other agencies grow. So
Mm-hmm.
I asked myself, what's the one thing that I would have wanted as that person starting from scratch? And what would have been ideal for me is if somebody who is already past 10K per month was like, yo, pay me. I will mentor you until you make your money back. I'll be your sales guy, and you can use my team for the fulfillment. So all you have to do is worry about booking meetings, and
Mm-hmm.
they will take my sales calls with me so I can learn in the process of how they're doing it. I don't have to worry about if I can actually get them results because the person that I'm hiring to mentor me has a team that already has proven they can get their results.
Right.
And, that would be a perfect world, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
you would basically have your agency done for you for the first month until you get your feet wet.
Mm.
Like, learning that experience would have been the best thing possible for me. But because I didn't have that and I was just taking Ty Lopez's course, I spent the first 4 years being decent at sales, scale of 1 to 10, maybe a 3. And I would close a couple clients and then I would try to do the fulfillment by myself. And my ability to do fulfillment was like a 2 out of 10.
Mm-hmm.
And the probability of me keeping them long term was just shit. And I would get I would make $2,000 in a month. A couple clients would drop off. I'd make $500 in a month, and then I'd go up to 15, and then it would drop again. And it was just a perpetual cycle that went on for years until I decided, screw it. I'm going to hire a team that's better than me. And what happened was the probability of me like retaining that client went up. And now I've had clients that have been with me for over a year, that have been with
Mm.
me for more than a year. And it was because I finally got results. And that allowed me to keep increasing my retainer on a monthly basis. And it allowed me to just focus on booking meetings and sales.
Yeah.
So my sales on a scale of 1 to 10 went from a 3 to about a 9. My fulfillment never got better, but I hired somebody who was way more competent and better than me. So it's like I leveraged their skills. So I went from so now I have a 10 and a 10. And
Mm-hmm.
that's what allowed me to scale. So that's what I would do if I was, a beginner and I had to start my agency from scratch tomorrow. I
Mm-hmm.
would go get a normal job. I would do Uber or some shit and I'd make 50 to 100 bucks a day. So, and then I would make calls the entire day as well as I was in the car. And then the second I was able to get a client to give me an opportunity, I would outsource it and I would have the money to outsource it with the Uber money. And then I would scale it that way.
Okay. Okay, for sure. I mean, that sounds really, really good for sure. I do think it does require like a lot of discipline, and that's what people really are lacking these days. And it does take a lot to be able to, do Uber and then do calls. So, but for you, do you think it's a better route to learn how to do the ads first and then outreach, or do you think people should just get started and just start doing calls, start sending emails, and then learn as they get the client?
I think the first thing you should do is hire a very competent team. Make sure you have cash flow. So whether that's your normal job, your minimum wage job, make sure you have cash flow so you can afford to pay them. And then once you have cash flow, you have a competent team, learn how to book appointments and then start practicing. Don't even
Perfect.
worry about the fulfillment
Mm,
because if you're working in your business, you're not like you need to work on your business, not in your business. You
right.
can't scale it if you're doing the fulfillment.
Right. Right. Yeah, for
I
sure.
mean, you probably can. I'm sure there's outliers. And I'm
Yeah.
sure there's a bunch of people that have. So I don't want to pretend like, but that's just my own personal opinion. Again,
Yeah.
you're looking at a C student who isn't the most tech savvy. I'm more charismatic and I'm better at sales, way better. So you got to kind of understand like the type of person that you are, the type of personality that you have,
Mm, yeah.
because you can also hire a sales team as well,
Yeah.
you
Exactly.
know, and then you do
And
the fulfillment and then you got to just decide, like judge like what you're good at and then hire what you're bad at.
yeah, for sure. And I do think, hiring is one of the hardest skills when you're actually scaling your agency, right? But you did mention, right, you're a C student, you didn't get the best grades in school. You tried to do baseball, but that didn't work out. But what do you think, like in your opinion, like are the most crucial skills to learn as an entrepreneur to be successful?
Um, the ability to you have to just take full responsibility for all the good and the bad things that happen to you. You need to every single day, like, instead of viewing your day like, oh, did I book a meeting? Like, you can't view your day as successful or not based on results. It needs to be based on the habit that you're doing.
Mm.
So I tell my students all the time, I'm like, yo, if you made 100 calls in the day, you're good. Like, stop like beating yourself up if you didn't close a client. Like, this shit takes time. If you make 100 calls per day for the next 3 years, you will close clients. Like, I promise you.
Mm.
But you need to be consistent. It's the consistency, the discipline to be consistent, and you need to be able to like mentally be like a savage. Like you
Right.
need to understand like how to measure success, and it's very hard because people measure success completely based on money. Oh,
Mm.
I don't have my first client yet. Like, I'm not making any money yet. It's like, I'm a failure. I'm a loser. My parents are never gonna let me do this. Whatever. It's like, bro, if you just spend every single day making 100 calls, and then that's how you view your metric of success,
Mm-hmm.
eventually it'll grow because it's the consistency that wins. It's like
For sure.
another metaphor is the gym. You go to the gym, you work out hard one day, you're not going to see shit.
Right.
But if you did that every single day for 30 days, you're going to see a big difference. So it's
Mm.
like that's the key.
Yeah. And I feel like it's just consistency, right? And just putting in the reps, putting in the work every single day. But you mentioned like your definition of success and stuff like that. And Nick, like I just want to know like what is your definition of success?
Um, I mean, for me, I have my broadest goal is to, you know, like my own personal philosophies on life, real quick. I'm not a very like patriotic person. I always thought like being attached to where you live on the planet is a little weird, and like judging
Mm.
people on like their skin color or like age, it's weird. It's
Mm-hmm.
weird because you have no, I think judging people based on something that is out of their control is stupid and a waste of time.
Yeah.
So my ultimate goal, my big goal, and it's the reason like I love Elon Musk and like I have a Tesla and like his goal is to like save humanity, right? He wants to go to the fucking moon and like potentially like save humanity if a nuke goes off. Like, we have some humans that are still up there and the human race can live on. Like, my goal is like save as many people as humanly possible.
Mm.
That's my definition of success. Like I'm a nerd, bro. I love the superhero movies. I'm like, dude, like this is what I want to be. I want to help as many people as humanly possible
Yeah. That's
before I die.
awesome. That's
So that's
awesome.
my it's not my idea of success is like how many other agencies can I make successful? Can I take care of my friends and my family and that's it? You know what I
Mm.
mean? There's not a specific number. It's like overall, can I hire my boys? Can
Right.
I make sure my mom and my dad, if there's ever a medical problem, can I cover it?
Mm.
And how many people can I just, help make, even if it's an extra $500 per month? How much did that help that person?
Mm.
You know what I
Right.
mean? So
For
like
sure.
Balance University is truly like my number one passion because I see like that's my avenue to help the most amount of people possible.
Right, for sure. And I think like you reach a certain point where, you can take care of yourself. That's where you can, help your friends, your family,
Yeah,
new people that want to get started in their business. You can help those people because like you've done it yourself. You're financially free. And then, once you're able to achieve those things, you're able to, make an impact on the world, right? And I think that's just
exactly.
amazing.
For
Right.
for me, for me, the goal is to help and literally anybody who wants to be helped. I don't care what you look like, where you're from. If you're about it, I want to help you.
That's
We're
awesome.
on the same team. You know what I mean? So it's like
Hmm.
that's kind of my like big like goal. Like the it you got to find your why.
Right.
You know, I say that in the limitless portion of the Balance University course that's free on YouTube. Like, there's got to be a reason you're doing it. Like, it can't be materialistic. It
Right.
can be like if you're just that's all you care about. But like, I'm not a very materialistic person. I'm more of a minimalist, and that
Mm.
honestly I think helps the business a lot too. Because
Yeah.
like we're the same. I have my wardrobe is white tee, black tee, gray tee. Like, nothing flashy. This is a $35 Fitbit. The only thing that's flashy in my life is literally my car. I don't,
Mm.
materialist stuff doesn't really do nothing for me.
Yeah, for sure.
So,
And I feel like, like a lot of motivation nowadays is just to have the nice Rolex, have the
It's flex on
Lamborghini.
people, yeah.
Exactly. And I feel like that's where people go wrong because if you don't actually have like a good reason to make things work, like you're not gonna have like a very strong why, right? Like you
Yeah.
mentioned. And like for me personally, like it's family, it's friends,
Hmm.
like it's
Yep.
being able to free, retire my mom, like that's a good reason that I feel like would drive anyone, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, but yeah, I mean, I feel like running an agency is super stressful at times, and especially with any business, like things go wrong, right? Like, I did want to ask you, like, what would you do if, your agency was doing super good, but then you suddenly drop a bunch of clients, you're losing money, and things just go on a downhill, right? What would you do in that case?
Uber Eats.
Uber Eats?
Hmm. And then continue to just try to get more clients and then try to just put out the fires, you know?
Yeah, for sure. And then, I did want to ask you, like, if things are going wrong, right? Like, I feel like for me, like, there was a time where, my agency, it was doing super good. And then, I lose a bunch of clients. My fulfillment wasn't uh, on point. Like, what would you do in that case where, you're feeling super, like, broken? Like you feel down, you feel unmotivated, you feel burnt out. What would you do in that case?
So I'm a huge believer, like I said in the beginning of the podcast, is perspective. There's always somebody who has it worse.
Hmm.
So, I'm not currently being drafted to a war. There's clean water, fresh food, parents are healthy.
Mm-hmm.
I got a bunch of really, really, really good close friends.
Right.
So, gratitude.
Mm.
Shit's going to go bad some days. You're going to lose some clients. Life's going to be not easy all the time. But that's life. You
Right.
know what I mean? It's you got to, like I said, you got to take full responsibility for all the good and the bad things that happen. If your agency's going to shit, you're losing clients, it's obvious what you need to do. You need to fix that fulfillment issue and go all in on fixing that and hiring maybe a more competent team, fixing like maybe the niche that you're in
Mm-hmm.
isn't the best and you could maybe potentially pivot with that, or it's at the end of the day the answer is just always just making more calls. And if you're starting to lose clients, well, you should have 10 more in the pipeline,
Mm.
you know.
Right. And I think
Always
it's
just
just,
outwork.
oh
Yeah,
yeah, oh yeah,
outwork the problem.
yeah, for sure. I think it's just a matter of focusing on the inputs, like the actions that you can be taking to get to where you want to be, right? And I feel like a lot of people, they're very emotional, especially in business. I feel like that's terrible when you like
Yeah.
interlock your emotions and not really think logically. I think that is very bad. I think that's what makes like a good entrepreneur and like a not very good entrepreneur, right? But like, what was your biggest challenge when you were first starting your agency? I'm just curious.
Consistency with the calling.
Okay. Yeah, and like, you know, I feel like a lot of people they're not very consistent, especially like the beginners. And like, what did you do to overcome that, inconsistency?
By realizing like that was the most important thing and then combining something that I could do all day to make that boring thing easier.
Hmm.
So video games.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And speaking about challenges, like you're currently doing very well in your agency, right? I know that you mentioned to me that you're scaling really, really fast now. So I'm wondering, what is your biggest challenge now when scaling?
Um Trying to manage the amount of money that I'm spending,
Okay.
cuz like they say more money more problems. Um it's definitely true cuz like, I cuz I want to make my YouTube explode. I want to make my agency not explode too much because I'm very, very, very content with like a 20 grand per month agency
Mm-hmm.
because I'm not that passionate about it. Um, it doesn't really matter to me that much. It's not something that I truly want to scale. I'm not super passionate about scaling that specific business. So like juggling how much is worth to spend on ads to acquire new clients, and then um deciding how much money I should be spending to blow up my YouTube. Like definitely like money management is the hardest thing I'm dealing with now.
Mm. Okay.
And being a C student doesn't help with that because like numbers and like math, like
Yeah.
bro, I didn't take trig. Like not that you need to be able to do trigonometry. It's
Right.
just the point is like there's levels and
Mm.
like understanding like how much money I need to spend on a monthly basis and how much is okay to spend on a monthly basis. How much should I be putting away for taxes, business expenses?
Right.
That's the hard part, I would say, that I'm dealing with now that I'm just working through. Not complaining, just that's what I would say is the hard part
Mm.
that I'm dealing with now.
Yeah, I think that's like a good problem to have, and I feel like a lot of people, when they're first starting their agency, they love to have that problem of, not spending too much money, right?
Yeah.
But you did mention that SMMA or like marketing in general, like it's not your passion. I did want to know, like, um, do you think when starting your business, should it be like revolved around your passion and like what you like to do, or should it just be like, what's the most profitable thing I could be doing?
Um, I think fuck what you're passionate about. Like, make as much money as you can so that then you can do what you can be passionate about. The reason I picked SMMA is all of there's a shit ton of benefits to it. Like, you can work with whoever, you can work wherever.
Mm.
Those two were big for me. I'm not the type of person that does well with people talking down to me. So if like there's 'cause, like I had to deal with that with previous jobs that I've had before starting a business, and I fucking always hated that. I always hated my teachers that talked down to me. I had a
Right.
few amazing teachers, but some that were just like total power hungry pricks. And I was just like, fuck you, bro. You know what I mean? I hated the idea of like this person has power over me.
Mm.
They could tell me what to do whenever, and I was dependent on them because I either needed to pass a test, pass a class, get a paycheck. So SMMA allowed me to work with whoever I wanted to work with. I can work on my own time. I could scale it as much as I personally want to.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of benefits in that. Do I give a shit about running a Facebook ad for a chiropractor? You know what I mean? But it
Yeah.
pays the bills,
Yeah,
you
for
know?
sure. For sure.
And I like my clients, the clients that I have a good relationship with.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and the fact that I don't have, I love the idea of like hiring out as well. Like I don't do the work. Like I don't set up the Google ad. I don't set up the Facebook ad. So I don't have to be passionate about it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm paying someone who's better than me to do it for me anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why SMA is dope. So it's like all the parts of about the business you don't like,
Mm-hmm.
you can
Outsource it.
outsource it.
Right.
Exactly.
For sure, man. And I think that's what's great too. Like you can just focus on bringing more customers, bringing in more deals, focusing on money making activities per se.
Yeah.
But
And
yeah,
and one more thing, and
hmm
like I'm a nerd, bro. Like I love video games. I could play all day.
hmm
So the fact that I could combine the two,
yeah,
SMMA is great, bro.
hmm
That's why it's like I'm not passionate about the the business, but it's a ridiculously awesome business model where it's like, dude, as long as you make calls all day, that's how you scale.
you'll make it work.
You can make
Yeah,
it work, right? So
exactly.
you can if you can, make sure you're still on your shit while you're making the calls, and like you can pause the game
Yeah.
by all means. So it's like there's a lot of benefits to it for sure.
Exactly. Exactly. And you play the game while you're cold calling, while you're, prospecting,
Hmm.
and
Time flies when you do that.
exactly, man. And going back to cold calling, I know there's a lot of people that want to get started in cold calling. They want to get started, but it's just a fear, right? What would you tell to that person right now that's struggling to get over that fear, who's scared of making these calls?
Measure what's scarier: being broke, having somebody that has power over you for the rest of your life. You're gonna work a normal job where you need a degree to get that job, and which requires you to go into potentially $100,000 plus in debt that you're going to have to pay back for the rest of your life.
Right.
And now your entire life is basically you owe the government, you know? Do you want that normal life? What's
Mm-hmm.
scarier? The rejection of somebody being like, nah, I'm not interested, or fuck you, never called me again, or a life that isn't lived on your terms? And for me, a life that isn't lived on my terms is scarier than somebody telling me to fuck off.
Right. Oh, yeah, that's powerful. I think a lot of people actually just, had a paradigm shift right there. And yeah, like in my opinion, it's just a lot of perspective, like you mentioned, like how you view things, right? Because I feel like cold calling, like it's scary, but like once you realize, okay, if I don't make these calls, I might not eat.
Yeah.
That's just like where people are put into that situation. I know like there's a bunch of kids, I'm 15, I'm running my agency, right?
Yeah,
And
it's ridiculous,
yeah,
dude.
yeah, it's
So
wild.
dope.
But there's a bunch of kids around me, who, they're comfortable, they live in nice houses in the suburbs, but I feel like, in my opinion, it's just like people aren't put into that position where they have to make it work, right? Because they're
Yeah.
comfortable, they have their parents, they have, um, society, I guess, just telling them to go to school, get a job, and just follow that traditional path. And I feel like that's really making an impact on the people that want to make it. So, but going back to how you started, I wanted to ask you, do you think courses or coaching programs are necessary to see success with your agency?
Um, Honestly, yeah. Because it's like you can spend a lot of time. Like you could, yes, you could literally go on YouTube and teach yourself everything.
Hmm.
It's the structure of the course that will give you direction.
Right.
That's important because like you could be missing a few things. And the wise thing to do
Mm-hmm.
is to increase your probability at being successful. Now, ask yourself this question. Is there a higher probability or a lower probability that you'll be successful if you try everything yourself or you copy someone who's been there, done that?
Mm.
You know? And a lot of people see Iman Gadzhi and go, fuck this guy. He's rich as fuck. And they're just super envious. And
Right.
they're, at the end of the day, they're just tight that somebody younger than them is
Making it
that much
work.
more successful. Yeah.
Exactly.
So, or older. It doesn't matter. It's just like, fuck. Like people see success and they get super envious.
For sure.
And when the mindset should be, what can I learn from this person? You know,
Exactly.
you're 15, bro, and there's stuff that I've picked up from you that I've learned.
Yeah.
There's somebody in my chiropractor agency space, 18 years old, making like 60K a month.
Hmm.
One of my buddies started an agency after me, and they've scaled their company to over 100K.
Oh, wow.
And I could sit here and be bitter about it and be like, well, fucking fuck them. You know what I mean?
Right.
But instead, I'm a sponge. I'm like, what are you guys doing on a daily basis? Why are you doing this successfully? Like,
Hmm.
I look at somebody like building a network and buying a course is important because it's like it allows you to get there faster. You
Right.
know,
Right.
all those stupid mistakes that I made in the first 4 years, if I had a mentor, I don't make.
Hmm.
You
For
know,
sure, man. For sure.
like it also depends on the quality of the course that you have and the quality of the mentor that you have.
Exactly.
So it's like you have to be able to vet. Some people are just mad good at selling, so you have to like you can get fucked. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
man. Like Iman, he's hosting like a new event about I think it's about like the Great Reset or something, about
Hmm.
like the Puppet Masters or something like that. So funny,
Great
but
video. I
exactly.
watched that video.
Yeah,
It was
man.
phenomenal editing.
Yeah, great editing, great production. Overall, he's like a genius marketer, right? And I feel like people like
For
that,
sure.
definitely like they're selling to a bunch of people, and whether if their course is good or bad, people are buying, right?
Yeah.
And I definitely think like what you mentioned is just about perspective. Like, are you gonna be that jealous person who is just talking shit to people, envious of the
Yeah.
people making it work, or are you gonna try to be like, okay, this guy is doing something that I want to be doing, right? And you want to learn from them instead, right? Like
Yeah.
you have to really just change your perspective on things. And if you are the person that, is jealous of people, that, are hating on people, you just have to change yourself, right? You have to change that mindset and really, I feel like, try to replicate what they're doing instead of hating on
Yeah.
them, right?
Yeah, I definitely in the beginning struggled immensely with every single person except my buddy Joe that like showed me the laptop millionaire and then we bought the course together.
Hmm.
It was me and him versus the world. Like my mom was a kindergarten teacher, my grandpa was a college professor. My parents are divorced, so my mom is like ultimately the one, making decisions in my household. All of my friends at school were like, Ty Lopez is a scammer, bro. You're
Yeah.
an idiot. My
Hmm.
mom's like, you got to go study, go be a nurse. My
Right.
grandpa was disappointed. Like, that was extremely fucking hard, bro, at
Mm.
first. When I was like, I kind of want to drop out of college. Like, I'm not, this doesn't get me nowhere. And I'm just accumulating debt. Like, I'm good on this. What the fuck am I doing here? So,
Exactly.
very, very, very hard.
And yeah, like even in my case, like there's people at my school that see what I'm doing and they're like, okay, bro, you still have to go to college. You still have to, get that job because what you're doing isn't sustainable. It's not a real, business. It's not a real job, I guess. That's what they say, right? And they see people like Iman Gaji. They're like, okay, that guy's just a scammer. He's just, some guru out there that's trying to sell you like a course. Um, and then I feel like there's a lot of people that just have conflicting views, especially in business, especially when you're trying to make money from the internet. People just think it's a scam, right? And what
Yeah.
did you do personally to overcome that and just not having like a bunch of friends with you and just being by yourself?
Um, I was just not happy where I was. When I was buying the course, like I was at college, miserable, fucked my lower back up. So, like, physically, I was miserable as well, and mentally, because I couldn't play the game that I thought would make me successful. Um, and like, yeah, it's just sometimes the pain outweighs the opinions.
Okay, yeah.
The same. I use the same metaphor for the cold calls. Like
Mm,
it not working hurts more than the rejection of the business owner. Me not being successful and like, dude, there's plenty of entrepreneurs. Like I saw enough social proof to where I was convinced that if I worked hard enough, that could be me too. Like, why not me?
mm,
So I was convinced. I saw enough social proof,
yeah.
and so that social proof plus my fear of not being successful outweighed the opinions of everybody, my parents,
Mm,
grandparents, friends. And I had my one friend who was also in it with me, and he is my best friend. So having that was like the best thing possible.
for sure. And I
For,
think
yeah,
Hormozy talked about it too. I think he said something along the lines of, don't listen to your parents, don't listen to your teachers, your quote unquote friends, because they don't think what you're doing is possible, right? So if you're gonna have someone that doesn't think as big as you, right, you don't want to listen to them. And especially
yeah,
if they're not successful themselves, you can't listen to them, right? Because if you're gonna listen to their advice, when they haven't done it themselves, where they're not living the life you want to live, I feel like
yeah.
that's just terrible, right?
That's a big one.
Mm,
Looking at the person who's giving you their opinion, you have to judge is that person's opinion on that subject valid.
right.
My mom's a kindergarten teacher, love her to death.
Hmm.
I will do anything for her. But her opinion on how to make real money,
Mm,
it's limited to just I make money by teaching kindergarten.
right.
My friends, they want to be, you know, union workers, roofing workers, like just your knowledge is limited to that.
Right.
So I don't judge them. I'm not like, well, you don't fucking know, bro. Like, they're my video game friends. They're my sports friends. We talk about the Yankees and the Mets and
Hmm.
MLB The Show and Fortnite. That's what we talk about together, Rocket League, and that's fine. They're I call it like my recharging at the end of the day
Hmm.
because I love my friends to death, but I don't need to talk to business about business with them. I have other friends for that.
Right.
So I genuinely think like people get like super bitter towards their family and friends because they don't see their vision. And I'm just like, dude, they don't, they can't possibly see it. So don't judge them. Just ignore them on those, on their opinions and that specific thing.
Mm,
I don't bring up social media marketing to 95% of my friends.
yeah.
I just want to go get drunk and go to a baseball game with them.
Mm,
And I'm happy as fuck doing that. Like,
right.
cause there's friends for certain things. I have
Right.
my best friend Joe. We talk money the entire time we're hanging out. And I also have my best friends, Johnny, Mike, Puma, and we'll talk about video games and the Mets game and getting drunk. And I'm just as happy. It's
Mm,
just like figuring out like the balance of like what you can and what you can't talk about with specific crowds.
right.
So
Right.
that's kind of, you know,
Yeah, that makes
my
sense.
thought process on that. Because I know a lot of people are super bitter towards people
Yeah.
that don't see their journey or like tell them like, oh, like what you're doing is stupid. And like, yeah, it sucks a little bit. But at the same time, it's just like, shut up, be a man.
Mm,
Like,
exactly.
let it
That
go.
that's just how life is, right? Like
Yeah.
people won't see eye to eye with you. They won't really understand what you're doing, and that's just because they don't have the same knowledge as you, right? Like you mentioned, like I feel like people should be more grateful that you're actually able to do what you want to do, and you have that knowledge, right? You have that power over your life, and I think that's
Yeah.
super. That's just amazing, right? And you
Yeah.
did mention you have different types of friends, and I'm pretty sure Iman, he mentioned that if your friends aren't helping you grow, they aren't like, super successful businessmen or something like that, you should cut them out, right? And I do want to hear your thoughts about, should you keep friends that aren't where you want to be, that aren't doing what you do? Like, what are your takes on that?
I think you absolutely should keep those friends. Those friends that don't help me grow financially are like, they bring so much joy and happiness to my life. And my life would be significantly worse
Mm,
without them. I don't need them to help me become financially successful. I got it. I don't need their help.
mm,
What I need them for is their like the world is hard, man. Like
right.
just trying to deal with like the day-to-day shit. You never know what's going to go on or what can happen tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
I can't wait to watch the Yankee game with my boys later.
Right.
It's not everything is about making money.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I've these have been my friends since I'm a little kid, since I'm like 5 years old. I'm never ever gonna fucking cut them off because they don't want to be a millionaire. I don't give a fuck. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's just you need to just be able, like I just said, to separate the two.
Right.
Go get. I also like the mentorship coaching. I have my Telegram where I'm on Zoom every single day with like either, well, there's 20 of us in there, but like whoever can make it. I'm talking 24/7 to people that are on their shit about business.
Right.
Um,
Oh,
Phone died, so I lost that angle. We could continue
okay.
this, but we have like 50 minutes of
No worries. No worries.
content. I'm fucking pissed, bro. I fucking easily could have had this shit charging.
No worries, man.
Um,
We'll just continue though.
um,
But yeah.
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 So
Mm-hmm.
go ahead.
Yeah. So, I did want to ask you back to, SMMA and the agency stuff. How do you personally see SMMA, or I guess digital marketing in general, evolving in the next 5 to 10 years?
Um, I think that it's going to be saturated. It's already saturated. You know, but I think it's just a matter of it's man versus man. Who works harder and who has like the better team put together, you
Right.
know? Over the next 10 years, I don't really see businesses ever running out of the need for wanting more customers. So I genuinely believe it's a good business model for somebody to give it a shot with.
Mm-hmm.
And for me personally, I don't want 100K per month. That's too much of a headache. I
Right.
want 20K per month. I'm close to it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm chilling. I'm going to invest that money into crypto and my YouTube channel and grow my mentorship coaching. And I'm going to make money other ways.
Mm,
But like I'm comfortable with like 20K per month. And that's
right.
the beauty of SMMA because it's like you have the ability to scale it as much as you want.
Right.
There's no cap and there's no limit. Like you could do whatever you want with it. And I that's why I genuinely love the business model and that's why I teach it.
Right, for sure. And you mentioned saturation. I did want to hear, your thoughts about, like a saturated market and how you can actually get customers when there's like a million other agencies out there reaching out to the same prospects. What are your thoughts on that?
How do you differentiate yourself?
Mm-hmm.
You got to be better at sales, man. You got
Mm,
to be more charismatic. Read How to Win Friends and Influence People. Be better than that dude making a call. I tell
mm,
people tell me all the time on the phone, I get 15 of these calls a week. Why am I still on the phone with you? Why are we like, you know what I mean?
right.
And I'm just like, I know why. I'm just better at sales than these other guys.
Mm.
I know how to talk better. Like, end of story. If you
Ex-
want to do a little like role play, I'm more than happy to show and flex my skills a little bit if you want.
Yeah, let's do it, man. Let's do it.
All right. Well, pretend to be the business owner.
Um, hey, what's up, Nick?
How's it going, man? So, are you the owner of the company? Pretend you own an auto detailing place.
Yeah, man, I am.
All right, excellent. Do you have a second? I would love to work for you.
Yeah, sure.
All right, cool. So basically, listen, man, I would love to work for you absolutely for free for a
Okay.
month to prove to you that I could be a valuable asset to you and your company. Do you have a second? I'd love to explain to you how that process would work.
Sure, yeah.
All right. So basically, me and my company, we handle everything under the sun when it comes to internet marketing. We can handle Google ads, Facebook ads. We could target people who live within a 15 to 20-mile radius of your business. So only relevant people who have searched auto detailing will be seeing your advertisement. So we're professionals at optimizing and working algorithms of relevant people on Google and Facebook. You'll be the first person in your area on Google to pop up, and anybody who's searched auto detailing in the past
Mm-hmm.
at all,
Mm-hmm.
like will pop up on their Facebook feed. Your business will pop up there. We will, if they hit the lead form, we'll build you a website absolutely for free. And if they hit the lead form, we'll be able to qualify those leads and then follow up with those leads for you. So it's not just that we're a marketing company, we're also a sales team. We're like your receptionist as well, emailing and following up with these people automatically.
Okay.
So, if that sounds good, hopefully we can hop on a Zoom call and we can bring you to my computer and I could show you
Yeah.
how this stuff would
Yeah,
work.
let's do it.
All right,
Perfect.
excellent.
Yeah, right there, guys. That was just like a visual, representation of how, the calls work. And you just have to do that like 100 times every day,
Yeah.
right?
And there's a couple things in there. You're probably like, bro, you're gonna build them a website for free? You're gonna work for a month for free? No. We're gonna get paid. Then you gotta ask them specific questions about sales.
Right.
So this is how you qualify your prospect. You go, can you spend minimum $2,000 in a month? Yes or no? Because I personally spend $6,000 per month to run ads for my own personal agency to grow my business. I just also make cold calls because free acquisition, who doesn't love a free client, right?
Mm-hmm.
I spend $6,000 per month. I understand that you need to spend money to make money. And if you can't afford $2,000 per month, forget it.
Right.
Not interested in working with you. And then all of a sudden they're like, I guess I'm a bitch if I don't spend $2,000 per month.
Yeah.
So we tell them, listen, we'll take $750 because we need to pay our team to set up these processes.
Right.
I work for free. I don't take any money.
Mm-hmm.
My team needs to be paid to set up these processes. In the beginning, it's very challenging to set up the ad, especially if it's a new ad account. We need to be able to spend a decent amount of money. So that's why the majority of the chunk of the 2000 will go towards the ad budget. So 1250 to let us optimize and split test ads and make sure that your ad is working.
Mm.
So you tell them at first to get them to stay on the phone with you. The hook is I'll work for free for a month. And then you really are working for free technically because they don't know how much money you're paying your fulfillment team. Some people pay more, some people pay less. Fulfillment is up to you. So it's a way to get them for a trial month. You prove yourself, and then you tell them after the trial month is over, I would like you to sign a long-term deal with me and pay me $12.50 per month as my retainer fee. That's what the majority
Mm.
of my clients pay. But I have a referral price as well where we chop off 250 bucks. If you refer me to somebody, then I'll honor that same $1,000 per month price to the referral. And that's how you grow.
Yeah, man. And I feel like especially with your free trial, I I think that's
Trial
just
month, not free
oh
trial.
yeah, yeah, trial month, but that's like an instant hook that you can get onto that business owner, and then especially if you deliver amazing results, you can just be like, okay, do you want us to continue, bring in more customers for you, right? And then they'll be instantly, okay, yeah, I'll pay you this much. You continue to bring me more money, and then yeah, it's perfect. So,
Mhm.
for any beginners out there that want to get started, that want to instantly get some clients, you just have to do that, right? You just have to do like a free trial for like a week or like a month, whatever it is, and then get them that quick W. They'll just continue paying you, right?
Right. Because these business owners, they don't want to keep searching. Like for me, I'm not out here looking for other creative agencies.
Mm.
I want your fucking shit to work.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
I vetted you. I the same way a business owner would vet me. I reviewed every single thing, saw this is exactly what I'm in the market for. Can you get the job done? And by all means, if you can get the fucking job done, I'll pay you for life.
mm.
I'm a loyal dog. I'm like a dog, bro.
Right,
Like I literally like you're the only dude I'll go to if this works.
yeah,
And that's the majority of the business owners. Like they just want you to do right by them, give them a fair price, regardless of how rich they are.
mm-hmm.
Just because the guy makes multi-million dollars, like doesn't mean he doesn't like a discount. A
Right,
lot of guys that are that rich are kind of cheap too.
exactly.
Like my yacht charter client, dude, won't fucking. He's so fucking cheap, but I love him to death. But I'll fucking love him though.
Yeah, man.
But some of them are so goddamn cheap.
Yeah,
So it's like even though they are super rich, they're very like tight with their money. So you don't want to just overprice your shit. Like give them a fair fucking price, do a good job. They'll respect you for doing that, and then you'll grow your agency from referrals and just like from that point it's easy.
right. And I feel like people just have to focus on like just the right inputs to get them to that position that they want to be in, and just to make it so that it's impossible to make it to not work, right? Like if you're making like 100 to 200 cold calls every day
Yeah.
for like a year, like you're like, bro, you have to sign a client, right? So
Yeah.
that's just how that works, in my opinion. But I did want to ask you, like, what are your thoughts on, AI, ChatGPT? There's so much happening recently, in the space, like ChatGPT writing cold call scripts or like whatever it is, like automated appointment setting. Like, I just want to hear your thoughts on that.
It just makes being lazy fucking that much more of a like, are you kidding me? With the amount of resources we have now, it's like you are a lazy son of a bitch.
Yeah,
SOB.
yeah,
Hop the fuck on ChatGPT, write me a cold DM to get business owners to work with me.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
it's like, dude,
Yeah, and I feel like, with AI, it's easier than ever to make it work.
could not be easier. Yeah.
Exactly, exactly. And I just feel like, there's so much less off your plate now that you're starting your agency. Like there's so many more free videos, free guides. Like you're posting like 3 hour long marketing courses for free on your YouTube. And then there's like Joel Kaplan. There's people just posting so many free content out there. There's AI, there's literal robots that can write you stuff, that can do stuff for you. So I like in my opinion, it's just a matter of doing the work, right? Just
Yeah.
getting things done and focusing on the right inputs, right? But I also had like a few people ask me, since I'm pretty active in a few communities, they were asking like, could AI replace SMMAs or like marketing agency owners?
No. And the reason is because that other business owner wants a personal connection with the person that they're paying.
Hmm.
Like technically Facebook ads is an AI, Google ads is an AI, and I could do it myself, but like I would rather hire someone to work the AI for me.
All right, so it's more of a operator, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a tool. It's like it's software. It's the same way I look at Riverside or Zoom
Mm.
or,
Yeah.
Google ads, Facebook ads. Like there's always somebody who's scale of 1 to 10, a 10 at it.
Mm,
And for a creative agency, consider you, I literally consider you a 10 at it.
mm,
So instead of me hiring or just putting my, like, I could go on Canva, or there's other AI softwares that could edit the videos for me, or, write up or edit my thumbnails, whatever.
mm-hmm.
But I'd rather just, because I've seen your work, I trust you because you're a real person that I could talk to.
Yeah.
So I don't. Well, that's just me talking as a business owner. I maybe, and who knows how much better this fucking AI shit's gonna get because we're at the baby stages,
Right.
and they're probably gonna replace humans. Like by the time that we're like 50,
Yeah. There's gonna be
I
insane
can't even
changes.
imagine what's
Yeah.
gonna happen. So it's
Exactly.
like
Yeah.
for the
So
next 10 years, I think we're good.
yeah, yeah, for sure. And I feel like
We can
people,
relive this conversation then.
yeah, and I feel like people, they're just so scared of the things that are about to happen, like the rejection on the phone, AI replacing you. Like, bro, you have to focus on the inputs. Like people are just making excuses, in my opinion, of like, okay, AI is gonna replace me, so why would I even try? Like that.
Well, I tell my students that all the time. Just like all those people that have the limiting beliefs, that's why 99% of people fail.
Exactly.
Let them have the limiting beliefs. Bet, because that call that you would have made, I'm about to make.
Exactly.
And because I don't have the limiting belief, I'm gonna close them, and that could have been $1,000 in your pocket per month, and it's mine now instead.
Right, right. So it's just less competition for you. There's
Yeah,
more opportunities
by
because
all means.
yeah,
Yeah, take the
exactly.
day off. Take the day off.
Exactly, man. And there's just so many people out here that are just, limiting themselves. And like to me, like it doesn't make sense because if you're not gonna do SMMA or if you're not gonna be an entrepreneur and make it work, even when you want it to, what are you gonna do? Like just because you think AI is gonna replace agencies or, you're scared to call someone, like it doesn't make sense, right? So just
Yeah.
putting it back in perspective. Um, you just have to focus on the inputs again. So, but I,
Yep.
I, I did want to ask you again, what does a typical day in the life look like for you?
So I wake up at like 10:30 a.m. Um, the four waking up at 4, cold shower, meditate. I wake up at 10:30. I make my coffee.
Mm-hmm.
I come. I sit down. I post in my Telegram
Mm-hmm.
of my paid mentorship, my Zoom link. Whoever can make it that day hops in. I make calls. I listen to them make calls. We work from 11 to about 3 p.m. And then about 3 p.m., I eat something small, go to the gym, I work out, I go for a long ass walk. I try to get, 10,000 to 15,000 steps per day. Vitamin D, super fucking important. I get outside, I open my window, um, you know, and then I get home around 7 ish.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when I'm playing video games with my friends. I'm on PlayStation. I'm in the PlayStation party. I'm talking shit, playing MLB The Show. And then around 11:30 p.m., um, I'm now on a Zoom call with my team.
Mm.
And that's for fulfillment. And then every single night we work for however long we need to work on making sure all my clients are taken care of. And then obviously, 3 o'clock is the end of my cold calls and like follow up calls and like, but there'll be meetings sporadically in there as well because it's like it's very random. I could have a meeting at 5, random meeting at 4:30.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of that is just if I have a meeting, I have a meeting. But that's the beauty. I could I
Do what
work
you
from my
want.
car.
Yeah.
I do what I want. So it's like
Yeah. So, I do think like, like a lot of people, they think they have to do, the monk mode stuff that Iman says, which is great in my opinion. But, right here, like Nick is an example of that, you can wake up when you want to. You just have to do the work, right? Like he wakes up at 10:30. He, wakes up, he gets ready, he just makes calls, right? And he does a lot with his students too, right? So like I feel like people are just focusing on the wrong things. Like wake up, you have to meditate, you have to I don't know, like do whatever they do, cold shower. So right here, there's a perfect example that you don't have to do that, right? And it's just that, you have to put in the work. So, wrapping this up,
Yeah, bro.
the last question I want to ask you is, what is one piece of advice you would give to someone looking to start their agency?
Um, I would sign up for a free call with me.
Free call with you.
I would take my free course
Okay.
or anybody's free course.
Yeah.
That's the first thing I would do.
Okay.
Find a course that's free. I don't necessarily think the paid courses are worth it nowadays because you have people like myself that are putting out this information
For free.
for free.
Exactly.
I spent thousands on thousands, my fucking friends. My bad. I'm just putting my shit on. Do not disturb.
No worries,
Um,
man. Yeah.
I've spent thousands of dollars and I've had 7 years of experience in SMMA, and I'm willing to put a course out on every single thing that I know for free.
Right.
And there's other SMMA guys doing the same. So that's the first thing I would do is I would work on learning the skill from a structured course that happens to be free. I would keep my expenses as low as humanly possible. Don't view living at home with your parents as a negative.
Mm-hmm.
It is a huge W
Right.
because
You save a bunch of money.
you save money that you can reinvest into whatever.
Right.
You need money to make money. Like the money will grow if you can invest it. But if you just throw it into a fucking apartment and spend 4,000, I live in Long Island, New York, so the
Oh,
most
okay.
expensive place to live maybe on the planet. So if I were to spend 4 grand a month on utilities and just my rent, that's 4 grand less that I have to invest into growing my agency or my YouTube.
Right.
So it's
Right.
like keep your expenses as low as humanly possible. Don't buy dumb shit. Learn the skill, and then once you learn the skill, go and execute every single fucking day.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's perfect. I'd say the same thing. I'd just say, focus on the inputs. Keep your expenses low. Like, don't buy random stuff that you see, because like, in my opinion, there's so much like materialism nowadays. Like, you have to buy the nice watch, the nice shoes, the nice cars. Even when you don't really have the money, like, people may hit like 10K a month or 5K a month, and then they think they made it, but you
Yeah.
should really be putting that money back, right?
I'm not perfect, bro.
Yeah.
Like I'm wearing a $10 t-shirt,
Hmm.
but I fucking I did spoil myself a little bit. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Like
Yeah.
like dude, I am absolutely obsessed with Tesla.
Hmm.
I absolutely love it, and that's the one thing I kind of splurged on a little bit.
Right.
But
But I
at the
mean,
end of the
yeah,
day, it's an asset
exactly.
because it's probably going to lose 10 to 15 grand in value, but I can always resell it.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like I still could say, God forbid, shit hit the fan. I could sell it, and now I have an extra 45K in my pocket.
Hmm.
You know, I'm
Right.
just getting the most you know, out of my money
What
because,
you
dude, I
spent.
drive all the time. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So having one or two nice things is definitely okay.
Yeah, for sure. And I
But
think,
just
yeah,
make sure you can afford it,
yeah, for sure,
obviously.
for sure. But like, definitely, you have to spend the money eventually. So you have to treat yourself. But when you're first starting out, I would say to just fully focus on your
Uh,
business, like at least for the first like 1 to 2 years, I'd say.
yeah.
Like when you're scaling at the start, it's probably the most difficult. So
Yeah.
that's why you have to put the money back in. You have to focus on the business 100%, and then you can start to treat yourself, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I've wanted that car since I was like 18 and I got it like right before I turned 26.
Mm,
So,
yeah.
I fucking waited a long ass time and I've worked on this business for mad long.
Yeah.
So it's like you gotta set goals and
You have to
like if your
lock
goal
in.
is something material,
Right.
like you gotta earn that. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? So
For sure. But
super important.
Anyways, I think that's pretty much it for today. We've definitely covered a lot. I feel like, definitely we covered a lot of philosophy in this call, just like the overall mindset. And I think a lot of people would get value from today's conversation. But if you guys want to talk to Nick, if you guys want to actually learn from the man himself, he's doing it. Um, sign up for a call with him. And, this will also be going on Nick's channel. So definitely check him out. He's the GOAT. But yeah, that's pretty much it. And we'll talk soon.
I appreciate you, bro.
Yeah.
Thank you. Should we do a quick before I go?
Yeah.
Should we tell them what the mentorship coaching has in store, like what they can expect from actually working with me directly?
Oh, yeah. 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 Let's do that.
So basically, I have a mentorship coaching where I have a Telegram group. It's kind of very similar to Andrew Tate's War Room, where I take people who get into my mentorship coaching and I put you guys all together. And basically, what you're doing is essentially hiring me to work for your agency. I'm basically the training wheels on a bike for you. So I help you get your first client. Basically, what happens is instead of you buying my course, you get my course for free and you pay me that. Well, the price is going to vary from, as the demand goes up. It could be 500, it could be 10,000, depends on where I'm at and what, price that I'm putting out right now. But basically, you would hire me to be your sales guy and then also do the fulfillment for you until you make your investment back. So say it was $1,000. You'd pay me $1,000. I would onboard you to Telegram. I would onboard you to WhatsApp. So we're in a group chat, me, you, and my fulfillment team. And I basically will sit on Zoom with you every single day. And then if you have a meeting, I'll take the meeting with you and act as your white label company business partner
Hmm.
who basically will close the client for you and then I'll onboard them. I'll send them the contracts. I'll do all the work for you until you make back that initial mentorship payment investment. And now you have your first client that pays you on a recurring basis. It's 100% your client. You have full access to my team for life. And yeah, man, that's kind of like what I wish that I had when I was first starting cuz like I didn't I was focused on doing every single thing myself. I didn't understand that I could hire a sales team. I could hire people to do my fulfillment for me. So you're basically getting your first business expense on the mentorship coaching. It's 100% a write off. I'll show you how to sign up for your LLC. I'm very passionate about helping you start your agency. So, I think making that investment would be smarter than dropping it on a course where now you just have to figure it out for yourself. You're paying me to not only mentor you, but to basically work for you until you make your money back. So you're guaranteed to break even.
Yeah. So, if you think what Nick just told you is interesting, if you think that can help you out, sign your first client, get you scaling fast, definitely go book a call with them. From this conversation, I'm pretty sure you know that Nick, he knows what he's doing. He's definitely gone through a lot of experience. He started several years ago, and he has a lot of learnings that he can share with you. So definitely, if you're
Yeah.
interested, go talk to him. And yeah, thanks for tuning in.